Jess. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to the vlog. I'm sure that you read the title or seen the thumbnail, so you know that for this vlog I am going to be reading anticipated releases. There have been so many books that have come out this year that are on my most anticipated releases for the entire year, and I have barely gotten to read any of them. I've been doing a pretty good job this year of accomplishing my reading goals. I just have not had the time for the new releases that have come out this year, and there's so many I want to read. I've already bought so many books this year that were on my anticipated releases list, and I barely even touched them. I'm not even gonna lie to you, the vlog that I had planned for this week was completely different, but now it's the end of May and I have my copy of Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, and it was just sitting there, staring at me, on top of like 5 other brand new releases that I'm dying to get to. And I was just like, you know what, Jess? You deserve to read your most anticipated books. You deserve to read books that you have been looking forward to for months. And it's the truth, I do deserve that. So this week I'm only reading anticipated releases. I'm so very, very excited about that. And I also think that I'm gonna go to Barnes and Noble this week, and I think I'm gonna buy some anticipated releases because tomorrow Witch King by Martha Wells comes out. So I think I'm gonna go pick that up. Actually, it's out now. Sorry. I haven't gone to bed yet, so when I wake up this evening, it will be out and I can go get it from Barnes & Noble. So yeah, it's gonna be a whole week about new books. Books I've been looking forward to, books that just came out, buying brand new releases. It's gonna be a really, really fun week. I honestly don't know what books I'm going to read this week. I know for sure I'm gonna read Yellowface. That book is the whole reason that I'm throwing my TBR into the dumpster. So I'm gonna start with Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, and then if I have any more time this week, we're just gonna see where the mood takes us. If my makeup is looking crusty, it's because I just finished my stream, so I'm actually pretty tired. I think I'm gonna grab some food and I'm going to lay down in bed with Yellowface, and I'll see you when I wake up to come to Barnes & Noble with me and pick up Witch King. Later! morning I have quite a bit of an update for you. It is the next day. First of all, as you saw, yes, I went to Barnes & Noble. I picked up Witch King by Martha Wells. Yes, I've already started it. We will get there. We will get there. What you didn't see though is that I also picked up Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee. This was also on my most anticipated releases of the year. It is a book that involves like warriors that bond with gigantic eagles with magical powers called rooks, and I love animal companions, so I was very, very excited about this. I did not realize that it was a novella, that it's very, very short, but that's fine, doesn't bother me. This actually has been out for, I think, about a month now, a little bit longer, but I made myself a promise that I wasn't gonna buy this until after I read Jade City and made sure that I liked Fonda Lee's writing style. This is by the same author of the Green Bones Saga, and I read Jade City and I loved it, so that gave me a free rein to get Untethered Sky. So here we go. I finished Yellowface, and it is excellent. I laid down in bed thinking that I was just gonna read like 50 pages or so and then go to sleep. And I stayed up 4.5 hours past my bedtime so that I could finish this book. And I have zero regrets. I don't even think that I explained what Yellowface is about at the beginning of this vlog. I just said that I was really excited to read it. Yellowface is about these two girls. They are Athena and June. Athena is a Chinese American and June is white, and they're both in the same writing program at Yale, and they meet and become friends and graduate together, all of that. And then as adults, they are both currently living in DC. Right after graduating, Athena got a massive book deal. She's now like a massive bestseller, has had 3 critically acclaimed novels put out, and like a Netflix deal and everything. Like, life is going great for Athena. And June has had a very different experience. Her debut novel did not sell very well. It was a little bit of a flop. Her agent doesn't really care about her, doesn't give her really any time or attention, and you know, she is not doing well. One night, the two are hanging out together and Athena dies in a tragic accident, and June steals her manuscript and then passes it off as her own. Along with that, June changes her author name from June Hayward to Juniper Song, which is her full last name and her middle name, but Song, while it is her real middle name, is quite racially ambiguous, and she changes her author photo to be a bit more racially ambiguous. And the book that she steals is a historical book about Chinese workers during World War I. Then the plot kind of goes from there, and we're just dealing with what happens after that. I've heard this book pitched in a lot of ways. I've heard that it is a literary thriller. I've heard that it is a critique of the publishing system. I have heard that it is a critique of tokenism within the publishing world and also of racism within the publishing world. And I do think, like, yes, all of those are true, but I also think that, like, that's how they're marketing this book. That's what they're using to, like, sell copies of this book. But honestly, this book is, it just is what it is. And, like, I know that that is a vague thing to say. I get that. But like in reality, this book is June's story from June's point of view. And you are in her head the whole time. And there is definitely critique in here of the publishing industry and the racism and tokenism that exist within there. But I do want to say that that is, I think, pretty minor overall. I don't think that it is like a full discussion and a full critique. I think it is more just R.F. Kuang pointing out the flaws in the system. You know, it's not like a nuanced conversation about what goes on, why it goes on, and how we can stop it. It's more just like blatant critiques that do, I mean, they are important critiques. They need to be brought to attention. But I didn't want anyone to go into this book thinking that they were going to have like this nuanced conversation about how we can change the publishing industry and everything that's wrong with it. Because, like, there are a lot of things wrong with it, and R.F. Kuang points out a lot of those things, especially involved with race, but it is not, like, by any means a full discussion. It's just pointing out criticisms. I've also heard that this book is a literary thriller, and I do think that is true. I think that that is accurate. But it is not a traditional thriller. And so I want to make that clear. This is literary first, with some thriller aspects added in. And so I think that if you're going into this looking for like a traditional thriller, you will be disappointed, because like that's not what this book is. Like that is not what this book is promised. It is not what this book is offering. And so if you are looking for a traditional thriller formula, you're not going to get that here. That being said, I gave this book 5 stars. I don't yet have the proper words to describe why I love it so much. I don't even want to pitch this book in a certain way, because this book just is what it is, and I think that it did such a good job of being what it is. And I just don't want anyone to go into it with any preconceived notions, because I just want people to be able to appreciate this book for what it is at this book's level. I just think that it is so excellent. R.F. Kuang's writing in this book, it just sings. It is just so amazing. I've read everything by R.F. Kuang in publication order, and from a writing point of view, this is definitely her best work. Definitely, without a doubt. At its core, this book is just June's story, and it's from June's point of view. And June is not a good person. She's not. Like, June is a shitty person. She's a shitty friend. I don't necessarily know that I would say she's evil, but like, she's not a good person. Honestly, I think this book is such a fascinating character study. I think that we have all met a June in our lives, and I think that that's why this book felt so alive and so real to me. And why I ate it up is because, like, we all know June. Like, we've all met a June. June is so entitled and also so oblivious at the same time. Like, it is just so entertaining to watch June go through her life thinking the things she does and justifying her actions and reframing circumstances and taking the truth and twisting it so that it's a half truth, where she's like, well, I'm not lying. And you're like, yeah, girl, you're not lying, but you sure as shit aren't telling the truth either. And it's just so, it's so fascinating. It's so interesting being in June's head. Sometimes it's very, very frustrating. And despite the fact that Athena dies very early in the book, like, she remains a presence throughout the book, and Athena is also such an interesting and complex character in and of herself. There's also commentary in this book about Twitter and like online culture and trolls and harassment and fame and how all of those can work against you together. And I mean, I'm on Twitter every single day, and I have never personally been involved with any Twitter drama, but I am on like Twitch streamer Twitter, I am on book Twitter, and I do observe the drama from the sidelines, and I do think it's interesting that R.F. Kuang has built such an interesting and compelling and entertaining character with June that at times when she is dealing with some of the things online that she has to deal with, you really feel for her. Like, you really feel bad for her. And I mean, here's the thing, like, some of the things she's dealing with online, like, she brought on herself. They are deserved repercussions for her actions. But I'm talking about more like when she starts getting like severe bullying and harassment and death threats and things like that. It has a very, very heavy impact on June's mental health. I think that is part of where the thriller aspect comes in. This book is very intense at times, and I don't know that everyone is going to have the same reaction as I did, because I do suffer from anxiety. And so when I was reading this, the portrayal of June's anxiety in here rang so true to my own personal experience that I felt my heart rate increasing, and I felt physical, real anxiety while reading this book because of what June was going through. And I mean, that is obviously a very personal thing. Like, everyone's anxiety experience is different. So I don't necessarily know that anyone else is going to feel as connected to the mental health rep in here as I did. It just goes to show how good R.F. Kuang is at writing, that she can build such a real and complex and interesting and entertaining character who is terrible, and you're in her head, and sometimes you just want to shake June and be like, how can you not see how oblivious you are? Like, how can you not see that this is wrong? How can you not see that, like, you're a bad person? And even when, like, she admits to doing some bad things, she still doesn't ever get, like, all the way there. But at the same time, even when I like know that June is not a good person, R.F. Kuang still has the ability to get me feeling empathy for her, because she is going through some very, very shitty things. And while I do think that she should be held accountable for some things that she does, I definitely don't think that it should have gone down this way. I also find this so interesting because I read Lolita this year and I hated it. I hated that experience. Like, 1 star from me. But reading Lolita, Nabokov very much tries to like trick the reader by having this like very unreliable narrator. And it did kind of remind me like a little bit of like the same type of unreliable narrator in here, except in my opinion, R.F. Kuang does it perfectly. This is like such a good unreliable narrator. Unreliable narrator is one of my all-time favorite tropes when done well, but one of my least favorite tropes when done poorly. Like, it's either like outstanding, my favorite thing on the world, or I like think this book should burn. It's executed so perfectly in here. The thing is like, you know that June is a bad person. You know you can't trust her perspective. But the thing is, June is so intelligent and she gets so close to the truth sometimes that you're like, maybe she does have a point about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of themes in here. And sometimes you find yourself agreeing in part with just a really shitty human. I don't think this book is for everyone. I don't think, like, I hate saying, like, if you get it, you get it. I think everyone can, like, understand the whole unreliable narrator and tricking the reader and the themes in the book. Like, I don't think I'm so smart for being able to understand, but I also don't think that, like, everyone is necessarily going to appreciate this in the same way. I don't think it's gonna hit for everybody, but I'm genuinely in awe of R.F. Kuang's writing in here. I think also for me, because June's anxiety representation hit so very close to how I feel. When her anxiety spikes, June has some thoughts that, like, I have had those exact same thoughts myself. I think because of how true her anxiety rang for me, this book also ended up feeling very intimate. Like, you feel very, very close to June. And she is filtering her thoughts to you as the reader. She is framing things in her own perspective, but she still lets you into, like, the deep, dark, gross parts of her brain and her thoughts. And I don't know if everyone else feels like this. Please, if you've read this book, please let me know if you agree. This reading experience felt, like, very close and intimate to June as a character. And that also is, like, such an interesting experience because I, like, felt icky. When you feel this close to someone who sucks, you just feel gross about it. You're like, oh, I don't want to be in this headspace, but you can't help it. You can't get away from it because you're just so close when you're reading. And yeah, I think this is R.F. Kuang's best book. I love it. 5 stars. Anyways, I've been gushing about this book for I don't even know how long. I can't see because I'm filming on my phone and I can't see anything. This whole clip could have been out of focus. I really hope it's not because I'm not refilming it. I finished Yellowface. 5 out of 5 stars. It's truly outstanding. My plan was originally to pick up The Foxglove King by Hannah Witten after I finished Yellowface because, you know, I've been on, like, a fantasy romance kick lately, and I'm not positive, but I think The Foxglove King has, like, a pretty substantial romance in it. So I was gonna pick it up, but I have this in my hands and it just got me. It got me because the blurbs on the back by N.K. Jemisin, a wildly original and complex fantasy exploring how revolutions are won through trust and destroyed through selfishness. Wells excels at brooding, powerful, inhuman protagonists who just need a little kindness to be their badass best. And, like, first of all, doesn't that sound amazing? But coming from N.K. Jemisin, wildly original and complex fantasy from the Queen herself? The Queen who wrote the Broken Earth trilogy, one of the most original and interesting and unique fantasies to ever exist. If she's saying that, then I need to read this book. So I actually did end up picking this up. I'm gonna stop holding it like a weirdo. I'm about 50 pages into this book now. This is another adult fantasy. In this, you follow Kai, who is a demon, and he has been trapped in a water trap. At the start of the book, a magician, wizard, I don't know, is trying to summon him to, like, trap him in a body of a child so that he can, like, bind him and use him as a familiar. And Kai's like, excuse me, do you know who I am? And kills all of them. And then he, like, scoops up the little girl that they were gonna put his soul into that body. And then he goes and he frees his best friend who's also trapped in the same location as him. And now they're just trying to figure what the hell is going on because they lost a good chunk of their memories before they were imprisoned. So they don't know who tried to kill them, who imprisoned them, why. They don't know how long they've been gone for in this like water trap. So they're just trying to figure things out. I did not expect Kai the demon to sort of rescue this little street rat girl, and I don't know if she's gonna like stick with them the whole time, but so far she is. So I do kind of hope that there's like a found family aspect in this. It could be really fun. I am enjoying it so far. I would say that this is dense. Martha Wells just throws you in and doesn't really explain things, and so you're kind of like scrambling. I mean, it's definitely disorienting to just be kind of thrown to the wolves and have to figure everything out on your own, but I do prefer that to being told everything and having info dumps, so I am enjoying myself. In the synopsis, it says that Kai has pain magic, but we have not really explored the magic yet. I'm sure we'll get into that, and I will let you know what I think about this. Good morning. I am here to close out this vlog. Unfortunately, this vlog started off so good. This week started off so strong, but this was just one of those weeks where, you know, sometimes things in life get you. Like, nothing happened, nothing went wrong this week. Just, you know, sometimes life has things that you need to take care of, and you don't get to read as much as you would like. Unfortunately, the second half of this vlog is a fail. I was unable to finish Witch King by Martha Wells. I actually only read like 110 more pages from the last time I checked in. I can't really give that big of an update because I'm not even halfway through with the book, but I will just say that I am definitely still enjoying it. Kai is a really, really fun main character. I like him a lot. I am also really liking the side characters that he has all around him. I do have to say that I am surprised with how political the story has been. I mean, there's definitely been action so far, but it hasn't been like intense, crazy, magical fight scenes. I definitely was expecting more magic and more fight scenes than we've got so far, but that's not to say they won't happen, and that's not to say that like I need those to enjoy the book. That's basically just what I thought I was gonna get, so I am surprised with how political this is. I also do still feel that even though I'm like 160 some odd pages into this book, that I still am trying to get my feet underneath me. There's just been so much information about the world dropped on the reader, and Martha Wells doesn't really explain anything. You just have to put it together through context. So it's not that I'm necessarily confused at what is happening, but I do feel as though I am missing pieces in order to see the full picture yet. And I do think those are coming. I think that it is intentional, and I think I will have a better understanding of how the world works and who the major political faction leaders are going to be in this book. I think I'll have a better grasp of all of that just like in the next probably 20 to 50 pages. I also am definitely really enjoying the magic in this book so far. I mean, nothing's really getting like explained, but it's really, really fun anyways. I do really love like the casual use of magic in the characters' lives and how it's woven into the world very, very seamlessly so that you really have a grasp of like, if you have magic, like this is what your daily life is like, and you can use it this way and this way. And I really, really love that. I really, really love just seeing how magic affects a magic user in their daily life. And I think that like casual magic usage is just a really, really fun thing in a fantasy world. I do like it in fantasy when there are rules to magic and there's a cost associated and magic is not like an OP thing. But I also really like when an author builds a world and magic is just like sprinkled throughout the world, and characters that have magic that are very, very powerful use it for dumb things. Like, I just really like that. I think it's really, really fun. And it definitely doesn't fit with like every fantasy novel. Sometimes it's not an appropriate thing, but I think it's really, really fitting in here, especially because the main character Kai is like a demon and he's basically like a purely magical being in a random human's body. And it's just fun. It's really, really fun. I'm very much having a good time in this book. I'm so sorry that I didn't finish this, that I don't have a final update. I'm sorry that this vlog is ending a little bit on a fail. By the way, yes, I did just get out of the shower. I know I'm looking a little rough right now. Yes, I did put on eye makeup just to film this clip. That's the only purpose. I'm gonna take it off after this, but you know, it helps my self-esteem. Okay, I'm doing the best I can. I might not have been able to finish this in this vlog, but I'll definitely finish it by the end of this month, so you will get my full thoughts in my June wrap-up about this book. Thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate it so very much. If you enjoyed this vlog, please consider subscribing, and I hope you stay safe this week. I hope you stay hydrated, wear your sunscreen because it is getting hot out, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!